Good morning, everyone. In the gospel of today's Mass, we are presented with someone who makes poor use of his goods. There's this rich man dressed in purple and fine linen and feasted magnificently every day. And at his gate is the poor man Lazarus, who doesn't have food and is covered with sores. This rich man perhaps has a very familiar way of living. He feasted. He lived for himself, as if he did not need God. He lived comfortably. He had everything in abundance, never wanting for a single thing. The parable does not tell us that he denied God or that he had any particular animosity toward the poor man, only that he was blind to God and simply failed to notice his neighbor in need. This was his fault. This man lived for himself. He preferred to find his happiness in being self-centered rather than in being generous. And this sort of egoism blinds us to our surroundings. It makes it that much more difficult to care for anyone else or to see their plight. His egoism blinded him so that he could not see Lazarus at his door, suffering, wanting food, hungry for any sort of acknowledgement. Again, his sin was simply that he did not notice Lazarus. He eliminated him from his consciousness, and thus he did not use his goods according to God's will. For it was not poverty that led Lazarus to heaven, but humility. Nor was it wealth that prevented the rich man from attaining eternal rest, but rather egoism. My brothers and sisters, with how we decide to use the riches that God has given us in this life, we'll either attain heaven or hell. Both are real, both exist, and we can go to either place. So we have to make sure that whatever God has given us, we put to good use. Very specifically, we put to his use. Caring for the poor, the sick, the suffering, caring for the man who's lying on the street covered in sores, begging for scraps of food. These are the demands of the gospel. Can we live up to them?